Hello, and welcome to Week 8 of the 2024 to 2025 NFL season. First up, Vikings against the Rams. Sam Darnold against Matthew Stafford. I'm going with the Vikings over the Rams. Next up is the Cardinals versus the Dolphins. Kyler Murray against Tua Tagovailoa. I'm going with the Dolphins over the Cardinals. Next up, Falcons versus the Buccaneers. Kirk Cousins against Baker Mayfield. I'm going with the Falcons over the Bucs. Up next is the Ravens against the Browns. Lamar Jackson against Jameis Winston. I'm going with the Ravens over the Browns. Next up is the Packers versus the Jaguars. Jordan Love against Trevor Lawrence. I'm taking the Packers over the Jags. Up next is the Colts against the Texans. Anthony Richardson against C.J. Stroud. I'm going with the Texans over the Colts. Up next is the Jets against the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers against Drake May. I'm going with the Jets over the Patriots. Up next is the Eagles versus the Bengals. Jalen Hurts against Joe Burrow. I'm taking the Bengals over the Eagles. Next up is the Titans versus the Lions. Will Levis against Jared Goff. I'm going with the Lions over the Titans. Up next is the Bills versus the Seahawks. Josh Allen against Geno Smith. I'm taking the Bills over the Seahawks. Up next is the Saints versus the Chargers. Spencer Rattler against Justin Herbert. I'm taking the Chargers over the Saints. Up next is the Panthers against the Broncos. Andy Dalton against Bo Nix. I'm going with the Broncos over the Panthers. Next up is the Bears against the Commanders. Caleb Williams against Jaden Daniels. I'm going with the Commanders over the Bears. Up next is the Chiefs against the Raiders. Patrick Mahomes against Gardner Minshew. How about them Chiefs? I'm going with the Chiefs over the Raiders. Up next is the Cowboys against the 49ers. Dak Prescott against Brock Purdy. I'm going with the Niners over the Cowboys. And finally, we got the Giants against the Steelers. Daniel Jones against Russell Wilson. I'm going with the Steelers over the Giants. Recap: Vikings, Dolphins, Falcons, Ravens, Packers, Texans, Jets, Bengals, Lions, Bills, Chargers, Broncos, Commanders, Chiefs, 49ers, and Steelers. That's all for now. That's all for this week. See you next week. End of video.